Chapter 18 Sustainable Development. Sustainable Development. Topic number 18.1. The concept of the development. Development is defined as an evolutionary process in which the human capacity increasing in terms of initiating new structures, coping with problems, adapting to continuous changes, and striving purposefully and creatively to attain new goals. It is a multi-dimensional process that involves major changes in social structure, attitudes, and institutions, as well as economic growth, reduction of inequality, and eradication of the absolute poverty. Several theories have been put forward to explain the concept of development. Modernization theories. The modernization theory of development distinguishes between the two main categories of the society in the world, namely the tradition and the modern society. The theory argues that the traditional society are entrenched by norms, beliefs, and values which are hampering their development. Therefore, in order to progress, the traditional society must emulate the culture of modern society, which is characterized by accumulation of the capital and industrialization, which are compatible with the development word system theory. The word system theory posits that international trade, socialization, and transfer of resources from the very less developed countries to the core development countries strive development in the periphery by making them rely on core countries. The world system theories perceive the world economy as an international hierarchy of unequal relations that the unequal relations in the exchange between the third world and the first world countries in the source of first world surplus. Globalization theory originate from the global mechanism of the deeper integration of economic transition among the countries. However, apart from the economic ties, other key element development interpretation as far as globalization is concerned are the cultural link among the nations is in the cultural orientation. One of the cardinal factor is the increasing flexibilities of technology to connect people around the world. Therefore, open and easy communication among the nation has created ground for cultivation, cultural humanization, thereby creating a single global society. Topic number 8.2 Sustainable Development (SD). SD is a core of SD is a core concept within the global development policy and agenda. It provides a mechanism through which a society can interact with the environment which not are risking damaging and resources for the future. Thus, it is a development paradigm as well as a concept that called for improving living standard without jeopardizing the Earth's ecosystem or causing environmental challenges such as deforestation and the water and air pollution that can result in a problem such as climate change and the extinction of the species. Topic number 8.3 History of Sustainable Development. As far back as 1789, Malthus postulated that human population tended to grow in a geometric progress, while substances could grow in only an arithmetic progress, and for that matter, population growth was likely to outstrip that capacity of the natural resources of the to support the need of the increasing population. Therefore, if measures were not taken to check the rapid population growth rate, execution or depletion of nature resources could occur, resulting in misery for human. With time, global concern highlighted about the non-renewability of some natural resources, which threatened production and long-term economic growth resulting from the environmental degradation and population. The concept of sustainable development received its first major international recognition in 1972 at the UN Conference on the Human Environment held in the Stockholm. Although Although the term was not referred to explicitly, the internationally community agreed to the notion now fundamental to sustainable development. Both the development and the environment hetero address a separate issue could be managed in mutually beneficial way. The World Commission on Environment and Development, chaired by Gro Harlem Brundtland of Norway, renewed the call for SD, culminating in the development of the Brundtland Report entitled Our Common Future in 1987. The report defined SD as a development that meet the need of the current generation without compromising the ability of the future generation to meet their own needs. Central to the Brundtland Commission report were two key issues: the concept of needs, in particular the essential need of the world's poor, to which overriding priority should be given, and the idea of limitations imposed by the state of the technology and social organization on the environment ability to meet present and the future needs. Topic number sorry Limit to the growth theory. The limit to growth theory (LTG) is a 1972 report on the exponential economic and population growth with a finite supply of resources commissioned by the Club of the Rome. The research team came to the following conclusion: given business as usually, example, no change to historically growth trend, the limitation on the growth Earth would become evident by 2072, leading to the sudden and uncontrollable decline in both population and industrial capacity. This include the following: global industrial output per capita reach a peak around 2008, followed by the rapid decline. Global food per capita reach a peak around 2020, followed by the rapid decline. Global service per capita reaches a peak around 2020, followed by a rapid decline. The global population reaches a peak in 2013, followed by the rapid decline. Growth trend existing in 1972 could be altered so that sustainable ecological and economic stability could be achieved. Topic number 3.1, sorry, 18.3.1. UN Conference on the Environmental and Development, UNCED, United Nations Conference on Environmental Development, UNCED, also Earth Summoned 1992 conference was held at Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, to reconcile worldwide economic development with protection of environment by mean the treaties and the other documents signed at the conference. Most of the world's nations nominally committed themselves to the pursuit of the economic development in the way that would protect the earth environment and non-renewable resources. The earth summit resulted in the following document: Rio de Janeiro on environment Rio Declaration on Environmental and the Development, Agenda 21, Forest Principles. UN Commission on Sustainable Development (CSD). It is responsible for monitoring implementation of the UNCED decisions, and it established by the UN General Assembly in December 1992. At its 11th session in 2003, the Commission decided on multi-year work program consisting of reviewing and the policy years at the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development. Rio plus 20 members state agreed to establish a high-level political forum that will subsequently replace the Commission on the Sustainable Development. First, Rio Declaration on the Environmental Development. A Rio Declaration on Environment and Development, often shortened to the Rio Declaration, consisting of 27 principles intended to guide countries in future sustainable development, referring to the integration and interdependent nature of the earth, our home. The Rio Declaration proclaimed 27 principles Agenda 21. It outlines the action that government, international organization, industries, and the community can take to achieve sustainability. It is divided into four sections: social and economic dimensions, including combating poverty, the changing consumption pattern, population and demographic dynamic, promoting health, promoting sustainable settlement patterns, integrating environment and development into decision making, conservation and management of resources for development, included atmosphere protection, combating deforestation, protection of fertile environments, conservation of biological biodiversity, and control of the pollution, strengthening the role of the major group, including the role of the children, youth, women, NGOs, local authorities, business, and workers, means of implementations, including science, technology transfer, education, international institution and mechanism, and the financial mechanism. Third, forest principle. The forest principle, also Rio de Janeiro principle, formally the non-legal binding authoritative statement of public for a global consensus on the management, conservation, and sustainable development of all type of forest. And it is a 1992 document produced at a home art summit. It makes several recommendations for conservation and sustainable development. Forestry. The Montreal process is also known as a working group on criteria and indicate for the conservation and sustainable management of temperate and boreal forest were started in 1994 as a result of the forest principle. Topic number 18.3.2, World Summit on Sustainable Development 2002. The World Summit on Sustainable Development (WSSD) was held in Johannesburg for 10 years. Assessment of the Rio plus 10 summit gave a political statement in the form of Johannesburg Declaration to be agreed by the world leaders, reaffirming their commitment to the work toward the sustainable development. Topic number 18.4, Millennium Developmental Goals. At the Millennium Summit in September 2000, the largest gathering of the world leaders in history, adopting the UN Millennium Declaration, committing their nation to the new global partnership to reduce extreme poverty, and setting up the series of time-bound quantified target with a deadline of 2015 that have become known as the Millennium Development Goals. Topic number 18.4.1, criticism of MDGs. Top-down and straight-jacket approach. They are changed with the neglecting issue in developed country, not corresponding to the real need in recipient countries, particularly those of the marginalized population. One of the cause of this is utilization of the donor given driven design failed to tackle the root cause of poverty and underdevelopment. There are no goals to commitment for development countries and no compulsion for the member to follow the MDGs. Also, there was no indication of what happens if goals are unmet at the end to the target period in complete agenda. The MDGs have also been criticized for the dimension they have omitted. Critics argue, for example, that the goals do not place enough emphasis on the sustainable development and leave out crucial issues such as peace, security and dis disarmament, as well as human right, democracy, and the good governance. Moreover, they cover only some dimension of multidimensional poverty, improper target setting. Some goals at the global level are unrealistic right from the starting. Example, MDG second, which demanded total enrollment in the primary education worldwide, while other demonstrate low emission at least the global level. Example, MDG1, which asks to have halving which the share of the people that suffer from income poverty, and which according to the World Bank has already been achieved. Some MDGs cannot even be measured, either because no indicator or target were set, or because for certain indicate no data is available. Non-uniform achievement of target There are huge disparity across and within the countries. Sub-Saharan Africa is the epicenter of crisis and widespread shortfall for the most of the MDGs. Asia is the region with the fastest progress, but even there, hundreds of millions of people remain in extreme poverty within the countries. Poverty is the greatest for the rural areas, through urban poverty is also exclusive, extensive, growing, and underreported. Underreported by traditional indicators focus on the output rather than the outcome. Some MDGs measure output or input rather than outcome or impact of the development. MDG to, for example, measure only the intake of education regardless of its quality of relevance for economy and social and political life. MDGs neglect and distributive issue. For instance, when a particular country lower its child mortality rate than MDG 4 does not capture whether this is due to improvement in the health of the most disadvantaged or the other that are better off in terms of the child survival. For policymakers, it may be cheaper and hence more attractive to invest in the health of the later rather than those at the bottom of the pyramid. Topic number 18.4.2, UN Conference on Sustainable Development, Rio plus 20 2012. Rio plus 20 resulted in a focused political outcome document which contained clear practical measures for implementation. Sustainable development member states decide to launch a process to develop a set of sustainable development goals SDGs, which will build up the Millennium Development Goals are converge with the post 2015 development agenda. The conference also adopted the groundbreaking guidelines on green economy policies. The government also decided to establish an intergovernmental process under General Assembly to prepare options on a strategy for sustainable development financing. Government also agreed to strengthen the United States Environmental Program (UNEP) on several fronts. They also agreed to establish a high-level political forum and for sustainable development. Government also adopted the 10-year framework of the programs on sustainable consumption and production pattern. To disintegrate a member state body to take any necessary step to fully operationalize the framework. The conference also took forward looking the decision number of the thematic areas including energy, food security, ocean cities, and deciding to convene a third international conference on a small island developing states SIDS in 2014. Theme of the conference focused on two themes: a green economy in the context of sustainable development, poverty eradication, and B, the institutional framework for the sustainable development. Seven priority areas. The preparation for the Rio Plus 20 highlighted the seven areas which intended priority attention. These include descending jobs, energy, sustainable cities, food security, and sustainable agriculture, water, ocean, and disaster readiness. In the Rio Plus 20 outcome document, member state agreed that sustainable development goal SDGs must be based on the Agenda 21 and the Johannesburg Plan of the implementation, fully respect to all the Rio principle, be consistent with the international law, build up the commitment already made, contribute to the full implementation of the overcome of all major summit in the economic, social, and environmental field, focus on priority areas for the achievement of sustainable development being guided by the outcome document addressed and incorporated in the balanced way of the three-dimensional sustainable development and their interlinking be coherent with the and with integrated into the United Nations Development Agenda beyond the 2015, not diverted, focused on effort from the achievement of the Millennium Development Goals include active involvement of all relevant stakeholders as appropriate in the process. Topic number 18.5, Sustainable Development Goal. As a part of the new development roadmap. The UN approved the 2013 Agenda SDGs, which are a call to action to protect the planet and poverty and guaranteed the well-being of people. The 17 SDGs are the primarily seek to achieve the following summarized objective: eradicate poverty and hunger, guaranteeing a healthy life, universalize access to basic services such as water, sanitation, and sustainable energy, support the generation of the development opportunities through inclusive education and decent work, foster innovation and resilient infrastructure, creating community and cities able to produce the and consumption sustainability, reduce inequality in the world, especially that concerning gender, care for the environmental integrity through combating climate change and protecting the ocean and the land, economic promote a collaboration between the different social agents to create an environment of the peace on and ensure responsible consumption and production. SDGs are the universal call to action to end poverty, protect the planet and ensure that the all people enjoy peace and prosperity. By the 2013, adopted by 193 countries, the SDGs came into effect in January 2016 and aim to foster economic growth, ensure social inclusion, and protect the environments. The encourage as pride of partnership among government, private sector, research, academia, and the civil society organizations (CSOs). With the support of the UN, the partnership is meant to ensure that the right choices are made now to improve life in a sustainable way for future generation. Agenda 2013 has five overachieving themes known as the 5Ps goals: planet, prosperity, peace, and partnership, which span across 17 SDGs. They are intended to tackle the root cause of the poverty, covering areas such as hunger, health, education, gender equality, water, and sustainability, etc. It can be argued from SDGs that sustainable development aim to achieving social progress and environmental equilibrium and economic growth. Topic number 18.5.1: difference between the MDGs and SDGs. SDGs benefit from the valuable lessons learned from the MDGs. They are also carry forward and finished agenda of MDGs for the continuity and sustain the movement generated by addressing the additional challenges of inclusiveness, equality, and urbanization, and further strengthening the global partnership by including CSOs and private sectors. They reflected continuity and consolidating the MDGs while making these more sustainable by strengthening environmental goals. There are seven major differences in MDGs and SDGs. SDGs. There are seven major differences in MDGs and SDGs. SDGs and MDGs. I just now it's term for table. SDGs have evolved after a long and extensive consultative process, including 17 open working groups, civil society organization, thematic consultations, etc. MDGs were drawn up by a group expert in a basement of the UN headquarters. SDGs included 17 goals with 169 targets. MDG were focused with only 8 goals, 21 targets, and 63 indicators. All countries developed or developing are expected to work toward the achieving SDGs, focusing on developing countries with funding came from rich countries. Pillars of the human development, human rights, and equality are deeply rooted in SDGs, and several targets. The seven applicity refer to people with a disability. Six to people in vulnerability situations are two non-discriminations. There are not even mentioned in the MD There were not even mentioned in the MDGs. The SDGs have one comprehensive goal emphasis on well-being and healthy living, including non-communicable diseases. MDG has three direct health goals, four target and 15 indicators that emphasize on the child maternal mortality on communicable diseases. For the SDGs, baseline is from 2015 estimate. It may be revised as more recent data becomes available. MDGS has three direct health goals: for target and 15 indirect, and emphasis on the child material mortality and communicable diseases. The CSO can play an important role on hold to hold government accounting at the local level. MDGS has no concrete role for the civil society organization. CSOs means of implementation. MOL governmentally negotiated global architecture and monitoring system being saved. MOL monitoring and follow up not defined in advance. Topic number 18.6, India and SDGs. Topic number 18.6.1, Strategy and initiative taken. Localization of SDGs is at the core of the India's SDGs implementation and monitoring strategy in the federal government governance structure. The state play a pivot role in the designing, executing, and monitoring development policies and the intervention. Therefore, state and UTs are the key drivers of the SDGs, while Niti Aayog and the central ministries collaborate with them in this endeavors. It is a paramount importance that a wide range of initiatives to implement and localize the SDGs being taken by the state government and the UTs find mention here. Awareness development on the SDGs, it is crucial to it is critical to generate awareness to all shareholders to facilitate participatory and inclusive implementation of SDGs. The state have devised their own strategies for synthesizing elected representative and official at the state, district, local levels, as well as CSOs and the communities, preparing vision document and action plan to guide their efforts on the SDGs. It is a chartered out interlinkage across sectors as well as various department and development in the context of and purpose for syntaxes. So far, 23 states have prepared their vision document that are based on the SDGs, aligning local development plans with SDGs. Local government, both rural and urban, are the best place to put people first and ensure no one is left behind. In India, 29 functions related to the socio-economic development are developed to local government. Consequently, many of the 17 SDGs are directly related to the activities carried out by the local government. Several initiatives have been taken to the cast the local development plans in the SDGs, identifying the state-specific indicators for monitoring of the SDGs. A sustainable amount of data is needed to be produced and analyzed on the SDGs, posing a significant challenge for the government statistical system. While our data-driven decision-making has been become a norm, decisions are often taken based on the scanty data due to the unavailable data, as well as lack of the comprehensive indicator framework. Development of the state-specific and district-specific indicator based on the NIF bridges this gap sustainability. However, more work is required to collect data that is disaggregated and is available at the higher frequency. Leave one behind. All states have made this principle the leading actionable and demonstrable parameter in the program implementation. A number of the state and UTs have taken initiative to conduct vulnerability mapping and reinforce people's participation in the various development programs to make them truly inclusive. Special initiatives have been taken to address the need of the vulnerable population groups such as women, persons with disability, scheduled caste, and scheduled tribe, etc. Like at the national level, social insurance and entitlement based programs have been multiplied in state and UTs are targeting the vulnerable social class, preparing capacity building resources that to and tool development of the capacity building aid and the learning material have been prioritized by the various state government. Different forms of resources have been used, such as comic for the children, written IEC material on SDGs, manual training modules, e-learning modules, information booklet, and tools toolkits targeting different audience aligned Aligning the state budget with the SDGs budget are the budgets provide a concrete measure of real commitment of the goals while information on actual spending so whether government have followed through and the planned budget expenditure aligning budget with the SDGs facilitate identification of the resources gap and preparing of multi-prorogated strategies to rationalize expenditure prioritization argument uh, revenue and improve resources efficiency, building partnership state and increasingly building partnership with various stakeholders such as multilateral organization, academia, civil society organization and private sector to achieving the whole gamut of the development targets. Niti Aayog and the UN in India joined hand to prepare a com- compendium of the early lessons in the localization of the SDGs in the collaboration with the state and the UTs, special attention in being given to adopt the implementation, monitoring the finance SDGs in the state, which have been historically backward in development. There is a consensus on the all level that unless these states make significant progress, India will find the challenging to achieve the SDGs target on time. Role of Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog has been entrusted with the role of coordination transforming our worldwide the Agenda 2030 Agenda of Sustainable Development called as SDGs. The task at the hand for Niti Aayog is not merely to periodically collect data on SDGs but to act proactivity fructify the goal and target not only quantitatively but also maintaining high standard of quality. It work closely with these state enabling them in establishing SDGs monitoring system and support them in a foregoing forging partnership for building in institutional capacity, knowledge, and convergence. SDGs India Index Niti Aayog undertook extensive exercise of measure India's and state progress toward the SDGs for the 2030, culminating in the development of the first SDGs India Index Baseline Report 2018. Topic number 18.6.2 challenges. The four major challenges that need to be addressed for achieving the SDGs are as follow. First, challenging in the financing is SDGs. With the emergence of the COVID-19 pandemic, SDGs financing gap are widened by an estimate 400 billion in developing countries, aiding to prevent COVID shortfall of 2.5 trillion per annum. The financial gap for SDGs in India has widened further, and the development progress made under the Millennium Development Goals are also on verge of the reversal. Heightened geopolitical tension around the trade and technology, growing external debt, unmet expectation of the public-private collaboration of the lack of businesses model supporting SDGs are the some key issues facing the financial financing of SDGs. Maintaining peace is essential for the development. A threat to international peace and stability by non-state actors is emerging as a major factor for both developed and developing countries. The recent crisis in Syria has forced 12 million people to leave their homes and made them refugees. Measuring progress, a number of the target in the SDGs are not qualified. The indicator for measuring progress do not yet be identified. Even if the limit to the two indicators per target, there will be 338 indicators to indicators to monitor and report. Having 169 target is likely having no target at all. Measurability will depend on the availability of data and capacity to measure them. Accountability. There was a lack of the accountability for input into the MDGs at the all level. This challenge needed to be addressed in the SDGs. This lack of priority in funds allocation within the country budget has also been a problem during MDGs. Similar lack of accountability existing at my ministry, state and local administration level. If we take SDGs seriously, and accountability need to be strengthened at all levels. Topic number 18.7: Way forward. By the force of intent and strategic versatility, the SDGs are expected to bring about a transformative impact on the development implementation process, as well as outcomes beyond the comfort zones of the business. As social approach, new strategies, institutional mechanism, and the partnership and necessary to yield the desired result. The SDG India Index will be computed every year based on the refinement of indicators and data methodologies, so that the year progress of the state UTs can be closely monitored, and the gap can be addressed. The national aspiration being to graduate toward a more dynamic monitoring and the evolution framework. As India prepared to present its second voluntary national review during the United Nations high-level political forums in July 2020, a conscious effort has been made to move from the whole of government approach to a whole of the society approach, with the extensive engagement with not only central ministry, state UT government and local government, but also civil society organizations, think tank, UN agencies, and the private sector of the gamut of cross connection issue and pertaining the agenda 2013, a comprehensive capacity building program of the states UT local and is being designed in partnership with the UN system. The training modules will extensively cover developing SDGs monitoring framework, identify and design indicators, localization and dashboards. Niti Aayog has initiated a collaboration with the IMF on estimating the financial cost of achieving key SDGs. As the next step of the collaboration, the SDGs financing exercise with select state is planned. Special attention is being given to adopted implementation, monitoring, and the financing of SDGs in states which have been historically backward in developed. There is a consensus on the all level that unless these states make significant progress, India will be find it challenging to achieve SDGs target on time. Niti Aayog has started working closely with these states, enabling them in the estimating SDGs monitoring system and supporting them in forgoing partnership for building institution capacity, knowledge, and the convergence. About SDG financing. Addis Ababa Action Agenda 2015 provide a global framework for financing sustainable development that aims align all financing flows and policies with economic, social and environmental priorities. India occupies a key role in determining the success of SDGs globally, and it need 2.64 trillion to $2.64 trillion investment to meet SDGs. India need to increase the SDG spending by an additional 6.2% on its GDP until 2013. SDGs Financing Initiative. SDGs Financing Lab is an OECD-led initiative that strive to inform decision makers and policy leaders to on how to ensure resources needed to achieve the 2013 agenda. SDG Fund is an international multi-donor and multi-agency development mechanism created in 2014 by the United Nations to support sustainable development activities. Green economy. A green economy is defined as a low carbon, resource efficient and socially inclusive. In a green economy, growth is an employment and income are driven by the public and private investment into such economic activity, infrastructure, and assets that allow reduction carbon emission and pollution, enhanced energy and resources efficiency, and prevention of the loss of biodiversity and the ecosystem services. The notion of the green economy does not replace a sustainable development but create a new focus on the economy, investment, capital and infrastructure, employment, and the skill and positive social and environmental outcome across the Asia and the Pacific. There are three main areas for the current work for the green economy are advocacy of microeconomics approach to sustainable economic growth through the regional, sub-regional, and national fora. Demonstration of the green economy approaches with a central focus on access to the green finance, technology, and investment support to the country in terms of development and mainstreaming of the macroeconomics policies to support the transition of the green economy. Partnership for Action on Green Economy page. It is launched in 2013 as a response to the call at Rio de Janeiro 20, Rio plus 20 to support those countries wishing to embark on greener and more inclusive growth trajectories. Page seek to put sustainability at the heart of economic policies and practice to advance the 2013 agenda for sustainable development and support nations reason in reframing economic policies and practices around the sustainability to foster economic growth and create income and job reduction, poverty and inequality, and strengthening the ecological foundation of their economies. Page bring together five UN agencies, UN Environment and International Labour Organization, UN Development Program, UN Industrial Development Organization, and sorry मैंने repeat कर दिया यहाँ पे, and UN Institute for Training and Research, whose mandates, expertise, and the network combined can offer integrated and holistic support to the countries on inclusion, green economy, ensuring coherence and avoiding duplication. Page represents a mechanism to coordinate UN action on green economy and to assist countries in achieving on monitoring and emerging sustainable development goals, especially SDGs 8 promote sustainable, inclusive, and sustainable economic growth, full and the productive employment and decent work for the all. The role of the green economy, sustainable consumption and production, and the social efficiency for the sustainable development, sustainable consumption and the production of aiming aims to improve production processes and consumption practices to reduce the resources consumption, waste generation, and emission across the full life cycle of the process and the product. While the resources efficiently refer to the way in the resources are used to deliver a value to the society and aim to reduce the amount of the resources needed and emissions and the waste generated per unit of product of services. The green economy provide a macroeconomic approach to the sustainable economic growth with a center focus on investment, employment, and skill. I think the chapter 18 is completed now. I hope you understand this chapter. So, तब तक के लिए धन्यवाद.